everybody, and welcome back. I'm Steve Piacenza.
And I'm Cathie Steve, and today I'm excited to share with you some of our really fun projects. We are making some gorgeous turquoise jewelry.
Not just any turquoise jewelry, though.
What kind of turquoise is it?
It is faux turquoise by using what, Kat?
We are going to be using dryer lint.
And Mod Podge.
And that is correct, dryer lint, to create this beautiful faux turquoise.
Yeah, well, let's show them around a little bit.
It's so fun. So we did a bunch of trial and errors to create these nugget shapes, and you can see here we've got them layered up, so you can add the faux nugget with tassels and dazzles. You can do something simple by just creating a little pendant piece with the beads, and we're going to teach you this pendant piece and how you do that loop at the top. And then here's another way if you want to just add some dangles and a pearl. And then down here is this really cool, just big flat shaped one. This is so simple to do. It's just, and what do you have?
It's weird how it all kind of came together and it turned out to look like turquoise. Let me show you my stuff over here. This one over here we did on a leather pendant right here. These over here, these dangles are with some crystals, and we did the faux turquoise in between. You can also do it on bracelets.
I love the bracelets.
Very cool. So you can make a keychain out of them. You can also put it right on top of any type of little bag, and kind of free turquoise. I mean, the thing about this is that you guys can maybe think of some ideas that we didn't think of. There's so many different ways you can use this. Also, the other thing is, let me just show you, we're using Appleberry and folk art paint. So this is kind of important too, is the different colored turquoises and blues that we're using, and we're gonna show you that a little bit later on, how we paint these to look like turquoise.
And I think you're gonna be surprised at how simple it is. It was like, we had this idea and we shared it with Plaid a little while ago, and someone was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. And we're like, it's not a thing. We're just gonna test it and see if this works. And we were so happy with the results. So now we're gonna show you how to do it. So you're gonna start with your dryer lint. And yes, we were collecting dryer lint for a while. It became a joke. Like Eddie was like, hey honey, are we still collecting dryer lint? I'm like, yep, we're still collecting dryer lint. So I've got it in a disposable bowl, and I'm using Mod Podge gloss, and I'm just going to pour a little bit of the gloss into the dryer lint. And one of the supplies, so first I'm going to show you that we're making the pendant. So this is the pendant piece here. Okay, so that's what we're going to show you how to make. So in order to do that, you want to start with a head pin. This is a jeweler's head pin. I hope you can see that. Is that good? So that's got the flat tip on the end there, and then it's just got a regular end there. So that's gonna be kind of important. I'm gonna lay that down. This is about, oh, I didn't measure it, about 3 inches, I think. And then I'm gonna go in and just start
mushing it up.
Yeah, getting it wet and saturated.
This is a good project.
Can you pour a little bit more?
This is a good project to put the kids to work.
I know, right?
It's fun.
There we go. A little bit more. And just kind of get it really mushy.
Saturated.
Mushy, mushy. So once you have it mushy, I've got enough here to do 2 different projects that I want to show you. So I've got a little ball of it here, and this is the part on the head pin that has the end. So I'm going to put that in there. You want that at the base. So your nugget, your little nugget that you're gonna have is going to all wrap around that, and that will be secure. So you want that base of that there. And go ahead and let's pour a little bit out onto our surface, because you wanna kind of get just all the way saturated. And don't worry about if you have fuzzies. Steve's gonna show you how we cut those away. So there we go, just like that, to create a little wad around the end. And then I kind of like to go in and just add a little bit of texture, just kind of with my fingernail.
Yeah.
And it's as easy as that. Now, to create more of a flat piece, like Steve showed you glued onto the leather, it's the same kind of deal, but you're just gonna form it into a flat shape, almost like a patty, and then lay it onto wax paper, or if you have a Mod Podge mat, you can use that, or parchment paper. And again, just kind of add some little indentations by pressing in with your finger. And then you're gonna set these aside and let these dry. One thing to note is that you're gonna want these to dry for about an hour or 2 hours at the most, and then turn them over, and then do that again maybe a second time, because you don't want it to get, first of all, it does dry to the wax paper, so you want to kind of keep it moving. And then you also want to be able to have it dry all the way through so that head pin gets glued in there. And it's, once they're dry, they're gonna look like this when they're dry. So it's dark like that. And now it's all ready for
painting.
Trimming up?
Trimming and painting. Okay, so let me show you how that is done. So when these are dried, you're gonna see these like little fibers or little areas that are kind of sticking out, and you really just go around and you're just going to clip the little pieces off. If you have another little piece that's sticking out a little bit too hard, just clip it off like that. Just use your scissors. Now the great thing about this technique is you can see these indentations right here is what you're looking for. You want these little indentations and these little imperfections the way real turquoise is. You can also go on the internet and kind of look at a piece of turquoise and kind of copy that, but it kind of really does everything on its own. And that's what me and Cathie found, that it was super organic the way we were just wrapping these things around, and they worked out perfectly.
Yeah, like none of them came out bad. So.
No, and they were all different, of course, as turquoise is.
Which is what you want, right?
Yeah. So let me show you over here. We're gonna do some painting now after you trim that up. And I just pulled all my blues and turquoises again from our craft room, and I'm using some apple barrel and some folk art paints, and I'm gonna use these two right now to show you. But again, all of these that you're seeing here today are with all different colored paints in this little spectrum. So I'm gonna do a little bit of this blue, and I'm going to, we used all this up.
We're at the end of the road.
Come on, it's coming.
Give us a little bit.
There we go. Okay, and I'm gonna use a little bit more of this green. These two colors are turquoise in the folk art brand. And in our apple barrel, we have Caribbean.
Yeah.
So I'm using these two. So.
And we really did use online resources and gem websites to try to match these colors.
Absolutely.
And the textures.
So you're just gonna go in, and I'm going to brush the Caribbean right on top. Now this is a trick, you guys. This is a little bit of a tip. You kind of want to brush it off because you're looking to keep those dark areas in here, because as you know, in turquoise, there are darker areas. The stone has dark areas in there, so you don't want to cover it completely. This is just a brush on top like that. So that's your first coat. Then I'm gonna go in with my turquoise, and I'm going to go on top of that. And again, you're keeping those dark areas exposed so you can see those colors. And that's really it, guys. I mean, it's that simple. The painting is that simple. You're just brushing it on, and then you're gonna wanna let that dry. Right now it's a little bit shiny, and it's gonna dry completely, you know, kind of matte finish. But as you know, turquoise has a little bit of that punchy gloss in it. So here's one that is dried already. And all I'm gonna do is, with my dried one that's already painted, is I'm just gonna go right on top of that and add our Mod Podge gloss. And that's gonna give you that shiny coat. And again, this is just a quick random. Set that aside to dry. And it's gonna dry in 20 minutes. And let's just go back down here, Addie, and you can show, here they are. Here's some of our nuggets, and they're gonna turn out looking just like that. Cool.
So now I want to show you, once you've made your nugget on your head pin, how to turn it into a pendant. So it's a very simple technique. We're going to use a couple of pliers for it, and we're going to create these pendants, these kind of drops like this. So you can use them single like that, or like Steve has over here, you can use them all together like this. It's really endless, whatever you want to do. So we're gonna start with some round nose pliers. Let's see, I wanna get into a position. Tell me if you can see me good here. Is that good? So we're gonna grab it at the bottom with our round nose pliers, and I like to go pretty high up, okay? And we're gonna bend that wire back to me, just like so. Then I'm gonna take my round nose and go on this side and loop it 1 time around. Did you catch that? So when I pull it out, you see you've got a little bit of a loop there. Now I've got I think these are called chain nose pliers. If I'm wrong, I know y'all will correct me, so go ahead and say. I just call them flat pliers, but I'm sure that's wrong. So then I want to put my loop back in like that. So you can see, let me show you. We've created just a nice little loop there. So let's put this in just to hold it. That's going to secure it. We're going to bring that wire around just like so. And then we will start looping it this direction. Back and forth. Now, once it gets to this point, you may need to come in with a pair of pliers just to help you loop it back. You can do that. And then now we're at the end there. So I go in, whoop, with my round nose pliers, make that a nice pretty loop. You can just sort of work around it. And then I've got my wire cutters. I'm going to snip this part off. And I'm going to cover that up so nobody loses an eye. That is we do not want those flying. And then we'll just take our flat nose pliers and just sort of give that a press so that we don't get any, I always like to check it and make sure there's nothing sharp. So no sharp pieces. If you get kind of a funny shape at the top, again, you just go back in with your round nose pliers and create that loop like that. You can make it shorter down there if you want. I created a taller one because on most of these we were adding dangles and things like that. So I wanted to have enough room to have tassels and stuff like that you can see up here, how we did all the tassels and things. And you can just keep layering the pieces together.
Yeah, I mean, you can get super creative with this project, guys, again, because it's dryer lint.
Yeah, so for those
Make
of
hundreds.
you who tuned in late,
yeah,
we created all of this faux turquoise using
dryer lint. Yes.
And we have a couple of tips that we wanted to share with you about like bracelets and other things that you could do. So if you are creating like rings or bracelets or things where you need it to be balanced when it's drying, we like to just use a bucket of dried beans and we place our items into the beans just to steady it while it's drying. That's a really just quick way, to glue that in like this. Oh, one other thing to note is this piece before it went into that bracelet plank was a little bit too big. So we had not made it planning on it going in there. So I was able to just cut it with some of my heavy duty scissors. So if you create some flatter pieces like this, it is cuttable. You may need to touch up the edges with paint or something like that, but there's so many different things. And you know what we were looking for was belt buckle blanks. Wouldn't that be so cute?
Couldn't find those. But I'm sure you guys can figure out other ways to use faux turquoise. Yes.
So fun.
Yeah.
So please drop us any questions. We are happy to answer them, although I think this project's pretty simple.
I think it's pretty easy. Yeah, I mean, take a look back. There's nothing to it. It is dryer lint and Mod Podge and paint. That's it. And here you go. Kath, I'm going to put this on.
Oh, thank you.
Let's try it. Let's see how it looks. Well, there you go, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Be sure to tag Plaid Crafts and Mod Podge in all of your projects because we want to see what you're making. And we will see you next Thursday on Make It with Mod Podge. And
share this video.
Yes, be sure to share this video with all of your jewelry making and Mod Podge loving friends.
See ya.
I like it with the crystal too.